So in today's Clear Talk, first of all, welcome back to Clear Talk. We haven't done a real set of Clear Talk in like months because I've been traveling and I'm not at home where my studio setup is. But in today's live, I want to talk about the mistakes I made after making $1 million. I just want to kind of get vulnerable and talk about the stuff nobody talks about, and so you guys can see the real deal stuff. I think too many people make it sound too fairy tale and rainbows, and so we all get fed this idea, kind of like honestly this bullshit that once you make a certain amount of money or you become a millionaire or you do this thing, you'll be happy. You'll everything will feel good. But it's not. Like I'm going to share some stuff with you today. So before we get into that, I'm watching you guys here. So if you have comments or questions, just let me know. And I'll answer them as fast as I can. So I'll have my eyes on this. Also, welcome back to Clear Talk. We go live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And the big question in this show that we answer is, how did coaches like myself and my team who started with nothing and risked everything to build a business around helping others, how do we get out there, get our message across in a powerful and an effective way, get clients, attract the right kind of people that we want to work with, all while still making a big difference and a big profit so we can actually continue to run our mission in our business. So that's the big question. This show will give you the answer to that. We go live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time inside the High Ticket Coaching Community Facebook group. So if you're on YouTube right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell, because we drop new content every single week on how to scale your coaching business and on really the truth and the stuff, the real stuff behind building a 7-figure business and what it takes. And if you're not a part of our Facebook group, then make sure you join it. Just go to highticketcoachingcommunity.com or click the link somewhere around this video and join the group. Now, if you're inside the Facebook group, then welcome to all my new friends. Welcome to our world. Welcome to our ecosystem, our movement here of High Ticket Coaching. We are the founders of highticketcoaching.com. And the reason is because we believe going high ticket is not just about charging more money. It's about upgrading your life. It's about upgrading yourself. High ticket coaches, they charge high ticket because they know their worth, they know their value, they solve bigger problems than the average coach. And so this is just a movement about being of service to more people into the world and being a bigger version of yourself. And so that's really why I do this. I became a coach because I wanted to help other people. And I grew up in a very dysfunctional family, a very dysfunctional environment where I was always at the cause of people who didn't know how to solve their own problems. And so a result of that was that they would go out and create problems for other people because they didn't know how to solve their own problems. So it was just, they're problem creators, they're problem makers. And I believe there's two types of people in this world. They're problem makers and they're problem solvers, right? You're either making problems or you're solving problems in the world. And so when I grew up around that, I said, I'm going to solve problems. I don't want to be a part of the problem. I'm going to be a part of the solution. So that's what all this is about. It's why we do what we do. It's why we're not just coaches ourselves, and I do a lot of breakthrough coaching, mindset coaching, not just business coaching, but we also help other coaches get their message out there, because I do solemnly believe that most of the people that are out there trying to become coaches or build their business, they have really good solutions for people to solve the problem. So that's what this community is about. So if you're here, welcome. Make sure you obviously check your message requests or your inbox. My team does reach out to you. I'll reach out to you, my team will reach out to you. We're always going to be reaching out to see if we can help out and to, schedule a call so you can talk to us and our team. If you're fit for what we do here at our program, in our programs, then we really do want to offer it to you and show you how we can help you explode your business. Don't be afraid about having those conversations, because those conversations are literally a stepping stone towards what you're attracting. If you're in this community and you book a call or you get an offer to book a call, remember, you attracted that from your vibrations and your thoughts. You didn't just accident, we're not here to do sales strategy. The sales strategy is God. It's not marketing of organic or my Facebook group. It's God. You had to put out something in the universe that said, I want to do this thing. And somehow me and you are now meeting through this Facebook Live or through this group. So that means you attracted me and my team. So you should honor that by getting on a call with us and talking to us, because we're pretty much what you asked for from God or the universe. And that's the only way we're meeting right now. And I probably asked for you because I want to work with more cool coaches that I can work with to really scale their mission and their business. So I need to honor that thing and be able to speak about it. So make sure you respond to our messages so we can hop on call. So wanted to talk about the story of the mistakes I made, after hitting that $1 million mark 2 months ago. And I don't want to make this like a speech, so I didn't really structure any notes. I actually wanted to speak from my heart and be vulnerable. I could always put out content on how to grow your business and get clients and sales tactics. And, we do drop a lot of resources like that. Like you guys, as you know, in this group, you get lots of resources around sales, around marketing. My team creates some really cool stuff and they launch it to you guys. And they give away some of our integral parts of our business, of our program that people pay for. So I have no doubt that you guys are getting tons of business value from being here and following me. But what I wanted to do instead, which I think is more priceless and valuable, is really talk about the things that people don't talk about. Like what are the mistakes you make? What's the vulnerability behind, having a money consciousness and trying to make more money? What's the cost that comes to becoming a millionaire? What's the cost that comes to being hyper focused on a business? We get dozens of people trying to join this group every day. We get, dozens of people booking calls with us every week, every day sometimes. But we talk to lots of coaches. I see a lot of applications come through. And I see a lot of people answering the questions when they join this group. And I see where you guys are at, where you want to be, and what you need help with. And I see a pattern. Everybody's just at a lower part of income and want to get to a higher part of income, because if you get to the higher part of income in your business, you think things will change. So I'm here to tell you single-handedly, like, this kind of might hurt my business, because I'm telling you something that's not going to make you more urgent to want to have to book a call to make more money with us, but rather it will kind of make you more awake and more calm and peaceful about things, which means you won't find the urgency to want to kind of join a program to help you scale. And so I understand what I'm doing here is not productive towards my marketing or my business, but I'd rather do the truth than to make more money. But I think ultimately, if I do the right thing, then the more right things will come to my life. Like I'll attract the right people who want to come in because they want to, not because they're afraid, because they need to make more money or whatever, or because I made you afraid because I said, you don't know what you're doing. So for once, let's put out some different content. I just want to inspire you with some vulnerability. So 2 months ago, I set out to hit the 2 Common Club in the beginning of January of 2020. It took me like 6 months to get my program off the ground, just to build it out and know what I'm doing, and trial and error and joining different programs. So by halfway mark of 2020, which is June of last year, I launched my first month in ads and did a webinar, and I made 30 grand, 34 grand. From there, the journey began on selling my program to hit $1 million. And so over the next 12 months, or roughly 14, 15 months, up until July of this year, June, July, actually, yeah, it's about 13 months. We crossed $1 million in sales in US cash. We did way more than that in Canadian. Like I'm Canadian, so we did like for 1.45. Now we're past the million. But most of that came in the last 90 days of the 12 months. So over the course of March, June, and July, we literally made $800,000. So over 3 months, we did $800,000. And one of those months, sorry, way more, but one of those months were 600,000 just alone in revenue, which was July. So 2 months ago, I hit this big milestone. I crossed the $1 million mark in a year, not just 12 months, but this year alone, we did $1 million just with this one program. And before I had made $1 million, but over a 3-year span doing seminars and working 100 times harder. So this was new for me. I also had the biggest team I've ever had, 8 full-time people working with, 6 full-time people and a couple part-timers. So my team was locked in July. Everything was working perfectly and smoothly. I was traveling, I was meeting some affluential, figures. I was enjoying my personal life. I was seeing LA, I was living in Hollywood Hills. And we see all this every day of July, we saw money coming in just like this, right? Like I was either making 4 figures or 5 figures in my Stripe account every single day. It was either anywhere between 3,000 to 6,000 or up to like 10,000 to 20,000 every single day on Stripe. I would open it up and there was money collected. It was a really cool feeling. And, it wasn't just like money, like I felt really rich and powerful, and it gets to you, right? Like you starts to get to your head a bit. In that time, I learned a wrong lesson. And I used to teach this in my breakthrough seminars. I would say, be careful how you make your money, because the way you make your money is who you become. And the way you make your money, the lessons you learn is from the way you made your money. So the majority of the money came in a month span. In that month span, I learned wrong lessons, and those mistakes, and I don't look at them as mistakes, because when you do them, you feel good about them. So it's not like I tried to do the wrong thing. I tried to do the right thing. But now I look back and I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, that was a stupid idea. So the problem was that I hit my biggest month in sales with my team while working less than I've ever worked. And I actually have a Facebook Live about this. Like I was watching my the 5 Keys to How We Hit 2 Common Club on YouTube like this morning. I was catching up with my own content. Sometimes when I get out of the loop, I like to rewatch some of my most recent content to remember what I was like at that moment. And, it's a really good little hack for you guys. If you guys ever fall off momentum, just go back to your best times when you had content up and watch yourself. I've been watching my own course content. Like I've been watching my own training videos and modules and remembering the things I taught a year ago on camera. And it's really cool because parts of you come back out that was at your best. So I've been going through some weird stuff in the last 60 days that have challenged me and my belief systems and my self-image, my identity, and my faith. And to some degree, I lost my faith. I lost connection to God and to myself. And I fell off my track. I fell off my routine. I fell off a lot of things that made me who I was and made me successful. It's funny because I remember reading this 6-7 years ago when I was just starting with nothing. I was a kid. And I remember saying, oftentimes the biggest mistake people make is they'll build a foundation, do all the right things, the basics that makes them successful. And as soon as they become successful, they stop doing the things that made them successful out of foolishness and arrogance because they think they don't need to anymore. And so to some degree, I crossed $1 million mark 2 months ago. My company looked perfect, and in theory, it looked all perfect. Every day we were booking calls, every day we were closing sales. The company my clients were getting results, we're getting servicing. I was withdrawn from most of the thing. Thanks for all the love, by the way. Ivan, I love you, man. All the way from India. I love you, bro. By the way, if you guys are on right now, drop some comments down below from where you're tuning in from. I'd love to know who's watching and where you're tuning in from. And so what happened was I thought there was this idea that infested my mind. I go, well, so right now, hey, Shelly, how's it going? Love this. Thanks, Arnold, for sharing the message. Yeah, love you too. No problem. Thanks for watching. So the big idea the inception that hit my mind that caused me to kind of withdraw mentally from my business and then from my mission and then just fall off track was that of, in July, I'm like, we made the most amount of money and I did the least amount of things. My team took over most of it. And in that, this gave me this false idea that I can just walk away from the business and let my team take over. Now, when I mean walk away, I'm not going to abandon my clients. Like I was still doing coaching. I was still going to always do coaching. I love coaching. So I was still doing calls every week with my clients, my elite clients, doing my group calls and doing all that stuff. But I meant I can delegate 95% of my business to my team. And I kind of incentivize them. And I said, hey, you guys can take this company over if you can grow this better than I can. So if you guys can come up with the content to post for my accounts, if you guys can come up with new ways of getting leads, new ways of closing sales and new resources for the clients, and the only thing I do is just coach and do what I do best. And I wanted to elevate myself to just leadership coaching in my elite program and leave the business and tactics and all that to my team because they're the ones who's in the trenches every day optimizing my business now. I'm not. I'm working on myself and on the overview of what it's like to be a CEO. So I'm out of the trenches of actually organic marketing and all this stuff. I still remember all of it. But they're the ones actively working on it every day. So I'm like, you guys are the experts now. Can you take this over? And I incentivize them. I give them an opportunity of a lifetime. I said, if you can do this, then I'll consider just making part of the company yours. So you guys are the CEOs, you guys are part owners, and you guys can benefit everything as if you build this from scratch yourself. So I kind of gave that opportunity, threw it at my team. And really half of it was because I wanted to see if they could, because my aspirations are much bigger than just teaching business. Teaching business is not my passion. I'm really good at it. And I love it because it's a form of psychology. Understanding people is really what makes you good at marketing and sales. And that's what all business is: marketing and sales, booking calls and closing sales. That's literally what makes any company a company. That and then the leadership and the culture. So I wanted to focus more on working with higher profile people and working one-on-one and working with big companies and working with them on culture and team development and systems and operations. And I love that kind of stuff. I wanted to get out of the how to get clients and land this and land that, because everyone could teach you that. Everyone can teach you that. Someone's going to have a better method than the other, but it's all working. It all works. At the end of the day, I've seen 100 coaches come to my program. I've worked with so many people over the years, and it's never the methods or tactics. It's very rarely those things that cause a person to fail or succeed. It's the person themselves. So I just got tired of selling a business program just that people come in and need personal coaching and not business coaching. I got tired of seeing that back to back. out of 10 clients I would close, only 1 or 2 of them were actually sufficient themselves enough to execute on good business marketing strategies. So they would go make money. But then they would hit plateaus, and I would fall in love with like helping them with those moments, like the mindset and the perspective and the self management. But 8 out of 10 times I would close a client and they're like, I need business strategies. And I would give them business strategies, and they go on and just literally mess it all up. And I'm like, it's you, you're the problem. You got to work on you. So my lead program became 7-figure leadership, not 7-figure business, because to grow to $1 million, like I can give you the entire infrastructure, but you could still mess it up and have limiting beliefs and doubts and slow yourself down and fall off and not know how to handle problems. And all those things are personal things. So I just got tired of that. I'm like, let me move on to bigger things. I want to work with people on the mind component, because that's my strength. I studied Think and Grow Rich for years. I've taught it with the president. That's really what made me successful. It wasn't my strategies. Like I learned some cool strategies from people, but a lot of people learn those strategies. Not everyone did $600,000 in a month. Not everyone did $1 million in 12 months. Some people fail every day still. So my heart was in a place where I'm like, let me give the people what they need. And that's what we all do, right? When we become a little successful, we go, well, let me give the world what they need, not what they want. But see, the people aren't paying for what they need. They're paying for what they want. And what they want is not what they need. Okay. This is the dilemma as a business coach in this industry. So that's why I'm like, you guys take it over and just do your thing. And let me focus on higher profile things. Let me focus on myself. And I also want a kind of a vacation. I've been working for so long, just every single day in routine. I haven't really had time to enjoy, and I've enjoyed the process. I love working, but I haven't had time to kind of explore and use the money I've made to kind of do things personally. I'm still a kid. Part of me humbly says I'm 25. So part of my biology still wants to go out there and do some fun things a kid would want to do at this age. So I'm like, I got to do that now. So I did it. The first month was fine after July. The first month, like in August, we had a huge decline in sales, but it was still over 6 figures in a month. And to me, I'm like, man, these guys should have done better. So I started becoming resentful towards my team. And I'm just being honest about this. I became resentful towards them because I was expecting from them to do better or as good as I did without me, which is unfair to do, because they didn't spend 7 years working on themselves as an entrepreneur. I did. They didn't build this thing from scratch when no one was there. I did. So it's an undoubtable truth that your team will never be able to really feel what you feel about your business the way you do. Like they just can't. Even if they try, they can't. They're going to do their best. They might get really close, like 99%. The 1% though is the difference between a mother who gave birth to the child versus an adopted mother who took the child right after birth. They're both mothers, and they're both probably going to be in that child's life at the same amount of time. The difference is one gave birth to that child, the other one just adopted it. So this is actually a really good example. As a business owner, you were the mother of the child that gave birth. But even if you try to give it to your team, or someone comes in and buys the company off you, that's an adopted mother. So they'll never have that oxytocin, oxytocin, right? Yeah. Oxytocin chemical bond with the child. There's a chemical bond with the child when you give birth to it. And so I have that chemical bond with this company. I started this corporation when I was a teenager. I was a teenager and I started this corporation. I'm like, I'm going to make this company into this $1 billion company. They weren't there. My team wasn't there when I did that, when I made that decision. That bond I have with this corporation, even though it's an entity and it's just a business, I get it. But there's a spiritual bond I made with this company, and how it's evolved. It's like a child for me. And so my team could do their best to be the best uncle or niece, the best uncle or aunt to the child, or the best adopted parents to the child, but they'll never be the biological parents. This is really deep shit. I'm having to break through as I'm talking to you guys about it. They'll never be the biological parents. For that reason, they'll never be able to do what you do with the company. It doesn't mean they won't do good. Like I know my team will do good. My team are extraordinary individuals, but it's just different. It's different. Even if I gave ownership to them on paper, they didn't give birth to the child. So I had to learn it the hard way. And part of me was hopefully, and wishfully thinking, they're just going to explode this company. They're going to get really rich because I'm going to pay them a lot of money from the explosion. And I'm going to be able to travel and kind of live my life and be this, have this luxurious lifestyle. To me, I'm like, that's what I worked hard for, right? So I can travel and drive nice cars and meet, incredible people and just do write a book and become famous. And so part of my superficial self was like, I made it. Let me do it now. And so I try to do it. It's all delusion, guys. It's all bullshit. Okay? It's all fucking bullshit. It's not real, man. It's in your head. It's in your head. That's what I realized. I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, literally think about this. Let me give you the most vulnerable diagnostic of my miserable situation. The first month was kind of hitting me slowly. The second month, which is the last 30 days of my life, it really hit me and I slowed down. I was just like, I felt like unlike myself. But here's what happened. I got the money. So the company made all the money. I got the team's in motion. You know, it's the best team I've had in 7 years of being an entrepreneur. I've had a lot of people come through my business. This team I have now, they're honestly irreplaceable and beautiful, and they're amazing people. So I had the team in place. My ego was like, man, I'm successful. Like I built something great here with them. I had the influence. So my clients love me. You know, my clients love me so much, my team, for what we do for them. So I have a sort of fame amongst them. And this group is growing, right? I had to get coaching community, and our stuff is second to none. There's people copying us now, you know, that are literally copying our programs or our marketing strategies. And it's a compliment to me. I'm like, we've reached a point where people model us as a competitor. So I had the influence, I had the money, I had the team. I attracted, I went on some dates when I was traveling. So I was dating, and then I met this beautiful, amazing woman who now I'm seeing, and I'm like, man, this is an amazing woman. I've got to be able to be a part of her life. And I started building a relationship with her. So I'm like, I got the girl, right? I'm being really vulnerable with you guys here. And I really do want you guys to understand, like, the reality of this stuff. So I got the girl, I got the money, I got the business, I got the team, I got the everything. Okay. And then I got the chance to be mentored by and mentor a 9-figure entrepreneur. Someone who built a company to $800 million and sold it for $800 million cash. This person was sitting down taking notes while I spoke to him and his team about how to scale their coaching business, because he made a lot of money in the product space. He didn't know how to sell coaching, because the service is a whole different business model. He looked to me as a person that could help him, and I blew him away. So now I have the blessings and the relationship and the trust of this 9-figure entrepreneur who's literally has celebrities in his phone, and he's interviewed Tony Robbins, and like he shared stages with 20,000 people in the audience. Like this guy's a big dude. He's a New York Times bestselling author. And so I'm sitting down with him and I'm teaching him. So I have the affluential people, right? And I remember I used to write down my goals every day, and I tell myself, I could see the money now pouring into my account. I could see the affluential people I mean, the beautiful women I'm attracting. I would tell myself this stuff. So all the things I told myself I wanted literally were coming to fruition in front of me. That I had everything I've ever set out. I also wanted to, when I was a kid, I used to want to travel and to warm countries. I love palm trees. I love water. I love beaches. I love sun. So now I'm living with this girl that I met in California. Every day we're going on a walk, and there's palm trees around me, and ocean and beach. And it's like, even down to the fact that, like, I love Pomeranians. Okay, I think they're one of the cutest dogs ever. And she has 2 of them. And so it's like, it's weird how accurate I manifested my dream life. Everything I've ever wanted. The location, the girl, the dogs, down to the dogs, the affluential people, and the respect and trust, the reputation of that, my influence over my clients, my world, the money, the team, the business. I was even in like good shape. I was working out again. It's really hard to work out when you're like always moving and traveling. You got to find new places every time. So I got lazy in that sense. I'm just like, I don't feel like it. But I started working out. I felt good again. I'm tanned, because when you get tanned, your body just looks better. So I'm tanned. So I'm looking like a model. I feel like a model inside, like looking in the mirror, I'm like, I look great. So it's like, I got everything you could imagine, like a kid could want, at least this kid could want, and everything. And somehow I'm sitting there and I'm feeling like something's empty inside of me. Something's missing. I won the award, got the money, got the team, got the business, got the girl, got the dogs, got the location, got the affluential friends. I was renting cars, like I was renting a nice car, and I'm driving around Hollywood, and I'm like, man, it's so cool. Like, I'm like, I made it. And it lasted like 15, there's like 15 minutes of success or fame, they say. It lasted so short. And I just started getting really depressed. And part of that started to influence me to make poor decisions and fall off my tracks. I stopped meditating in the morning. I stopped reading. I stopped writing. I stopped, working on myself, going deep inside. I stopped having conversations with God and myself. I started to disconnect from myself and let the outside world distract me from my inside world. And slowly, things by things fell apart. My team started to produce less. Business started to decline. I felt disconnected from my clients. So I felt out of integrity for that. I wasn't being the right person for the girl I was with. And so I'm like, I could even lose this girl because I'm not even being my best self. So why would I be attractive to this person? Like, I don't deserve this person because I'm being lazy. I knew I was going to lose the respect of the mentor, that the 9-figure mentor that I got, because I'm like, I'm not up to par with performance, and I'm walking in the middle of this beach and I don't feel anything different. I'm like literally walking with a palm tree and this beautiful scenery, but my insides are just like, ugh. And part of me started getting homesick. I'm like, I miss my routine, being home and being able to wake up and focus and just do things on my business. I started to realize I miss working, and I felt unemployed. I felt retired. So part of me was like in retirement, and I hated it. I fucking hated it, guys. I remember sitting down with a one-on-one mentorship meeting with Ryan, who's a 9-figure entrepreneur I was talking to you guys about. And I'm like, what would you tell yourself if it was you right now sitting in front of you at 25? He's like, to not stop. It's like, don't fucking retire. You're stupid if you retire. What do you mean retire? He's like, you made $1 million. He's like, I blow that on a week. I used to blow that in a weekend on Vegas. I'm like, don't make me feel small, man. But he's right. Like, I'm like, I just slowed down as soon as I hit the first milestone in the journey of a business owner. $1 million is like everyone's first, like big, holy crap milestone. He's like, you should just keep going until you're making $1 million a day. And at his peak in his business, he was making $2.1 million a day. He was making hundreds of dollars per minute, per second, I think. Something stupid like that. He was really making me think big. He's like, Armin, every time I refresh my bank account, there's like thousands of dollars more in it every second. I'm like, that's insane. But like, he worked a decade to build a company to that level. And so it's not just even about the money. I was just sitting there and contemplating, why do I feel like shit if I have everything I've ever wanted? And luckily, in those moments, I have a good infrastructure of people I go to, like mentors and friends. And I did talk to a lot of people. I spent 3 hours yesterday with one of my, like a brother to me and a coach and a mentor, Sonny. 3 hours. And all we talked about was my connection to God. That's all we talked about. I explained to him my whole dilemma. Like I just told you guys, I'm like, all these things happen and I just feel off, man. I feel out of my zone. I feel out of my element. My drive isn't there anymore. I feel out of integrity. I feel guilty because I'm not really doing my best. I'm not going the extra mile for my clients. These are things that are my character is based around. I'm not doing it. I'm out of character. So insecurity and doubt and fear is filling me. And all of it's right after I hit that $1 million, where I feel like I just start to let go. Like I just quit, I want to retire. And he's like, man, you're just not connected to God anymore. Right? Like everything you're saying is a lack of trust in things working out. It's like, this is all great. You're supposed to go through this. He was kind of changing my perspective. He's like, you got to go through this stuff. And I'm like, man, you're right. I have to go through this stuff for the next thing. And he even looked at me. He's like, man, you're just trying to make this amount of money. He's like, playing so small. Like your potential is crazy. You can do much bigger things in this world. I'm like, no, I'm ready for that. I want to do bigger things in this world. I just wanted to keep my promise to myself. When I was 17 years old, I said by 25, I'll be a millionaire. And it took me 8 years, and I did it literally in my 25th year before I turned 26, which is coming up next year. But as soon as I did it, like it meant nothing. I remember I was speaking to a friend like at the beginning of this year, and they said, Armin, you're maybe a couple months away from getting to $200,000-$300,000 a month. And they were right, because literally 3 months after that, I had $200,000 in a month. They go, but you're working so hard to hit this 2 comma club and this $1 million thing. He's like, I have a feeling you're just going to get there and realize it didn't matter. I'm like, well, let me get there. I'll tell you when I get there. But I hit it. And it was weird because we had better, like even the meeting with my team where I congratulated everyone. I'm like, guys, we did it. There was no spirit in that meeting. It was kind of like, we all just like, yeah, I know we get it. And that's kind of the rules around spiritualism and manifestation. It's like the closer you get to the goal, the more expectation you have of it, the more real it becomes and the less exciting, because you're just like, yeah, it's going to happen now. So all the excitement and the fun and the thrill comes in the state when you still don't know if it might happen or not. It's kind of like when you're so far away, it seems like a dream. So the excitement is there, but the closer you get and the harder you work and the faster you're getting, the closer you're getting to it happening to be real, the excitement goes down because expectation replaces it and goes, yeah, I just expect it at this point. I know it's going to happen. It's predictable. And so the excitement drops, which is the irony of it. Because this is why they say that the destination doesn't matter. It's the journey. Like it literally setting goals, hitting the goal has nothing to do with the goal itself. It's about who you become in the process. And all the fun I had was going from 0 all the way close to the $1 million mark, where I had to become so many things and our team had to evolve. So the closer I got, the excitement died out, the passion went away. And the moment I hit it, everything went away because I was like, So I'm like, what's the next goal? Just making more money? And part of me was like, well, what's the point in that? What the fuck is the point of that? I have all this money sitting in my bank account. My team has all this money sitting in their bank account. We all have money. My clients are making money. Everyone has money. But now what? Now what? What else? And because my background and my nature and the depth of me is more in the things that matter more in life, which is like peace of mind and your mindset and your connection as yourself and God, and things that matter more than making money. Like once you solve your money problems in life, you realize how boring a lot of things become. Because most of this world is just hyper focused on trying to fix their money issue. Like most problems can be fixed. Most worries and struggles can be fixed with just having enough money to fix them with. And they're like superficial problems. But the moment you fix those superficial problems, there's such deeper problems that you never actually thought about or worked on. And those become way more costly than your money problems. So as soon as I got there, I realized, man, there's so much more to me. I have to grow. So to summarize, like the mistakes I made after making $1 million is number one, I withdrew. I mentally withdrew thinking I hit it and I made it. Really stupid idea. I remember one of my clients, Eric and Brian, did this when they hit their first $100,000 a month. And they did it so quickly. And there's a cost to making too much money too quickly. Like out of the $1 million we hit, 600,000 of that, we collected 400,000 of that out of the 600,000 in sales we did in 1 month. So 40% of my goal was hit within a 30-day period. And within 45 days, we hit the remainder 500. So it's insane how quickly, like half that goal was hit literally in a 45-day period. There's a cost. There's a consequence to making too much money too quickly. I remember they did it. They did $100,000 in a month, in their second month coming into my lead program. And they just kind of dwindled out. The next month, they're out like 20 grand for like 3 weeks. And I got on a call. I'm like, what's going on with you? They're like, oh, and I'm like, what are you doing with your time now? And they said, well, we're hanging out. Like they were pretty much experiencing, they're enjoying themselves. They're celebrating. I'm like, see, you slowed down as soon as you hit the first mark. But see, business is like relay. It's not a sprint. And so many, it's just so, guys, you guys ready for this shit? I'm about to drop something, man. It's been a while since I've dropped things. It feels good to be back in inspirational flow. Let me give you an analogy. Business is not a sprint. But that's what people run it like. I just got to get to that $1 million, $100,000 in a month. I got to hit this thing. It's sprint. And the problem with the sprint is, and most people in business aren't made for sprinting, is you literally, as you get close to the finish line, you slow down and you just fall face flat into the ground because you burnt yourself out because you gave everything. And the joke on you is this, that as soon as you cross that first line, it's just only the first line, but you sprinted your ass out. So it's like you ran a marathon or a relay like a sprinter. So what you did, you burned yourself out at level 1. That's what I feel like I did. So I really burned myself out trying to hit that first $1 million. And I'm like, oh, and then I just failed, like just fall on my face. And I'm like, what happened? And I got up and I saw everyone running past me. All my competitors, my friends are all just running past me in sales and their business is growing. I'm like, what happened? What did I do wrong? And I realized, oh man, I'm playing the wrong sport. I'm in the wrong race. I thought I'm in a sprint. So whoever gets to the million faster or hits the highest amount of numbers in the shortest amount of time faster. It has nothing to do with that. Business is about sustainability. If there's anything I learned about in the last 60 days of my mistakes is sustainability is the key. So I should have not cared about hitting $1 million by 25 and cared more about building a foundation to make $10 million of the business, which is $1 million a month. And by 27, that would have been much wiser of me to do. But because I had to do this thing in such a short period of time and pressure was on me, I started to make unhealthy decisions and creating beliefs around them to justify my decisions. Because is loving this, Armin. Thank you for being real and for being you. Yeah. Love you so much. And again, welcome to the program account. I know you just joined. Just being honest here, guys, like business is like fun if you make it fun. It could also be very miserable and shit if you just have the wrong idea of it. And so really my goal with this talk today is to snap people out of the trance. Like you guys are all in trances. That's the problem, right? As an entrepreneur, we're all in a trance. We're all fed this bullshit. This trance, like we gotta get there. And once we're there, we're gonna be happy. We're gonna be this, we're gonna be that. Something externally is gonna determine how we're internally gonna feel. And it's funny, like I consider myself very wise in senses like I've had mentorship from people 3 times my age. I've spent years in the details of the writings of Napoleon Hill. So I fought out all the people I'd be smart enough to to see this coming, but I didn't. It's like even the smartest people or the most wise or whatever, most knowledgeable, they get it too. And they just get it at a different level. God will always match you at your level, right? So every new level, there's a new devil. God will always come to you with a challenge that's at your level that you can handle. So I thought I'm above all the challenges. I'm like, no, I'm good. Those things like smaller mindset things, I won't fall for that. But God came at me at a level of a challenge that I didn't know existed. And he hit me with something as big as me. So it knocked me down so I can humble myself again. And so the biggest thing I want to do is take people out of trance. Like, it's not that I'm detaching from desire or business. I'm still going to have a lot of drive and want to grow and be, do what an entrepreneur does. But I think my intention behind it all is going to change now. My intention is going to change. My intentionality behind why I do what the things I do in my business is going to change. The way I approach my life and my business is going to change. I'm never going to allow myself to fall into the lie and the trap of let me explain to you this way. I'm not going to let myself fall for the trap of pressure and deadlines and goals and results. And what I mean by that is like this all started to decline. And when I look back now, everything started to decline slowly, like prepared itself for this 60 days I just went through, this last 30 days really. I just went through a lot of just a bad experience in my life. It started to decline the moment I decided it's more important for me to make $1 million by August, because I had to qualify for the 2 Common Club Award to receive the award at the convention this year, not next year. The moment I decided that was more important than my peace of mind, I just slowly I was failing it just in slow, gradually. Like I was already going for my downfall. And that's what I realized yesterday talking to my mentor, where I'm like, I prioritized making a certain amount of money in a certain period of time. So there's pressure and this goal over my peace of mind. And the irony is, if your goal takes away your peace of mind, then you're ultimately an idiot. Like you're ultimately a failure. Because the outcome, success is not achieving the goal. Success is having peace of mind once the goal is achieved. And what I mean by that is success is not about just getting what you want. It's about wanting what you get when you get there. And I got what I wanted. And for a split second, I wanted what I had. And then I didn't. And I felt like crap. And I had all the things superficially I thought I've ever wanted in my life. But I felt like at my worst. Inside of me, I felt disconnected with myself and God. I felt disconnected with my purpose. I felt like, what was the point of it all? And should I even try? And I started to withdraw and I started to become lazy and procrastinate on everything. And then I started to become a person I don't even like. So now I started to get upset at myself. I started to become very different, guys. Like I never become my own enemy. It's something I preach against, always be your number one fan, because even, no one else knows what you're going through. And I turned on myself over the last 2-3 weeks. And it's a terrible feeling. And I wasn't used to having fear, doubt, or guilt, or all these emotions in me. I wasn't used to having negative emotions. My natural state is having positive emotions in me. So it's just really hard for me to handle it. So going back to the race analogy, I sprinted and I burnt myself out and I quit. And then I noticed everyone else. I started comparing myself to people. I'm like, shit, man, I'm behind. And so I put all that pressure on myself because I started by thinking the pressure of me doing this thing in a certain period of time is more important than my peace of mind. And then what happened is, because I couldn't handle all that, I started giving it to my team. So I will admit this. I became very nasty to my team in ways. I was yelling and I was sending the messages weren't really nice. And because I had a lot of resentment towards them, because I was blaming them for what I was feeling. I was blaming my team for not performing, because not performing was making me feel like a failure. And as I'm feeling like a failure, that's a me thing, right? It doesn't matter if my business is doing well or not. It's funny because, again, I teach this not only in my program, but I preach it to my clients. And here I am being a hypocrite, doing exactly what I tell people not to do, which is associating my identity and my peace of mind to my results. And that's the joke, right? Like, it's like, even if you know this stuff, God will always come at a level to challenge you at a level that is bigger than you are, just to humble you again with the exact same thing you may even know. So if you think you know something, think again. You don't know anything. If there's anything I learned, there's no point of trying to reach the end of anything anymore. Like, I just realized finishing and endings are illusions. There is no such thing. The moment you finish a goal, you're starting a new one, or else you're going to get depression. The moment you learn something, you read something or learn a concept, the moment you think you've mastered a concept, trust me, God is going to come in and give you some other shit you didn't even think about. There's a whole nother dimension to that concept you just learned. And you're going to realize you knew nothing about that concept. There's a whole nother world of concepts you had to understand again. So it's like the trap and the trance the bullshit that we're fed as entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are the worst at this because we also convince ourselves that a certain amount of money or a certain amount of results is going to make us feel different. So we are more incentivized to think this way. Whereas like everyday people may not. They might just be like, I'm happy going to my job. I like this. I like my life is good. Entrepreneurs, we have a disease, which is as much of a blessing as it is a curse, which is nothing's ever enough. It's nothing enough, not enough disease, right? And so because as entrepreneurs, there is no ceiling to what we could do. We can make more money every single month if we want to. We're like, oh, I want to make this much now. And so there can never be a cap or an ending. And we always think we set a new goal that if we get to the end, we'll be happy. But here's what I learned. I'm trying to give you guys this so you can avoid this stupid mistake. If you're not happy from the get-go of setting that goal, then you ultimately already lost that goal and you failed. Deep, man. The trance that we all get fed lie is, let me set this starting destination. When I get to the end destination, I'll be different. I'll think different. I'll feel different. And that's the illusion. It's like, no, you got to feel that thing now. The illusion is that you don't have something, so you got to go get it. The reality is, the truth is, anything you want, you already have the moment you said you want to get it. So you have to embody those feelings now, because the feelings don't come with the results. And if they do, you're lying to yourself. The feelings come from a choice, a focus, a choice of peace of mind inside. The results become a byproduct of the feeling. This is really deep, guys. Come on, man. Come on, baby. People are like, I'm going to make $1 million. I'll feel successful. No, you feel successful, then you make the $1 million. That's the only reason why I was able to hit the million, was to hit this goal, is I worked so hard for years prior to this to be a person who's just always in peace of mind and trust and faith. So luckily that delayed. And by the time I was out of doing that, like I stopped doing that, the past work I'd done had shown up and helped me hit the goal. But then it dwindled out really quickly. And I realized, man, I went back to being stupid again, feeding on the bullshit. So these last 30 days have been challenging because I burnt myself out and I didn't realize I'm in a relay race, which means as soon as you get to a certain point, it's just a checkpoint. You got to pass the baton to the next version of you. All right, run to the next point. And it's just, imagine that business is a never ending relay race. So is life. You got to hit the checkpoint. You give the baton to the next version of you, the next level of you. That's a bigger version. And they're going to go to the next level. And instead of running in circles, you're running up a hill. So you're always advancing. That's what life should really feel like. And if that's the case, there's no rush because there's no competitors. It's just you. You're literally just running to pass the baton. There's no other person you got to beat other than yourself. And really, you're not beating yourself. It's not about competing with yourself. It's about making sure you're making progress. So it's more important that you make an ounce of progress from today versus tomorrow. So you're just an ounce more ahead tomorrow than you were today, than it is how much of an ounce you do it and how fast. It doesn't matter. So yesterday I made a decision talking to my mentor. I said, I know when I started to set myself up to fall the way I did in the last 30 days, is the moment I decided that hitting my goal in a certain period of time was more important than my peace of mind and my team and love and God. The moment I did that, I shifted my character, I shifted my thinking to that of an outcome-oriented person, to that of a normal entrepreneur who gets caught in the trap of goal setting and not that goal setting is the trap, but of the race. I got to do this. I got to beat people. So what I really did was I detached. And so there's something beautiful that my mentor taught me yesterday. I want to share with you guys. If you're going through something like this, or you're not, you're maybe in the race right now, in the trap. You're probably in the trance right now. Some of you guys are already making lots of money. You feel great. So you're like, I don't know what I'm just talking about. I'm not going to be like that when I get there. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Let me tell you something. You are. You cannot escape the lessons we got. Okay. I'm not trying to project it on you. I'm just, maybe you have your own version of it. Maybe it takes you longer to get there, but everyone's going to reach that point. I talked to people who made $50 million a year. And they said, I remember the first time I made my $1 million or my $10 million. And it's the same fucking feeling. He goes, Armin, if you're making $600,000 or $6 million a month right now, you still would feel this way. Trust me. I'm like, I trust you. I mean, you made the money, so I trust you. It's not like from experience. This is what the curse of the entrepreneurial world is. Like, you're going to reach a point of emptiness when you've accumulated all the things that you set out to do as an entrepreneur. And then you're going to realize the real truth, which is being rich is different than feeling rich. And so having the money doesn't make you feel rich. Being spiritually rich makes you feel rich. And that's prioritizing your peace of mind and your spiritual connection with yourself and God over everything else. So I'll leave you with this lesson. The mistakes I made, obviously, I think I've summarized them, is I withdrew mentally from my business and my purpose. I tried to enter retirement mode just because I hit a certain amount of money. I associated my identity with the money I was making. And so the moment I started making less, I started to really freak out. And because of that person I became, I started to project it on my team and presenting them. And I started to blame everything around me. Like, oh, it's the environment, it's because I'm traveling, it's because this, it's because I'm distracted, it's because my team sucks, it's because this. I became this shitty person, you know. And then, you know, by the way, the climax of all of this was my body got extremely ill. I got a throat infection. It wasn't COVID. I got tested multiple times. It got negative, but I got a really bad throat infection. For the last 10 days, 11 days, I've been sick. I'm still sick. I'm still covering up. It's like my first couple of days where I feel like normal again. And so even my mentor was telling me, he's like, Armin, your body's telling you something. Like, you have all the symptoms of COVID. You're that sick and you're not, it's not COVID. Like literally you manifested this illness within you. And it's funny because it's my throat. It's a throat infection. So part of it spiritually could just be a lack of expression or honesty or truth in my throat, in my voice. Because I've either been using my voice in a destructive way, or I haven't been able to use my voice in a constructive way. And so part of my chakra, if you believe that, my energy point here is my self-expression and my thing. And I feel like because I'm disconnected with myself and I haven't spoke to myself or God for so long, that this got sick. It's pretty deep. So my throat got an infection. It's slowing me down. I was sleeping 20 hours a day. So that was a climax of all these bad decisions and series of just bad thinking. Eventually manifested through a form of an illness. And that's what happens. When you get really sick, it's just really an indicator that spiritually your body's telling you, like, and God's telling you, like, stop. You have to stop and think about who you're becoming and what you're doing. And that's what I did. And I felt like a bitch for the last 2 weeks because I've been sick and under care, and I'm an alpha. So I just want to be in like work mode. I want to control things around me. And this caused me to just be like, take a step back, relax. You're not in charge anymore. I am. God, I am. And so God's like, let me take over. And so the lesson that my mentor taught me yesterday, I was talking to Sonny, and he really helped me out. He goes, Armin, the thing I want you to take away from our conversation after 3 hours is spiritualism is the art of letting things go. Mine's really deep, man. He goes, every time you're faced with adversities and problems and illness and all these things, God's really just giving you an opportunity to let go of it and give it to him. So he goes, you got to let go of your business doing a certain amount of numbers and just give it to him. Be like, I trust you to take care of it. Let go of your illness and be like, I trust you'll heal it. And just work on things intellectually you need to work on yourself. So I'm like, you're right. I've been trying to control everything outside of me because the things inside of me I lost control of. So a person who's trying to control people around them is because they lack control within themselves. And then I started to, that made me a different person, a person I don't like. So it was just all fear-based thinking. I was afraid of things going wrong, afraid of doing the wrong thing, afraid of making more mistakes, afraid of getting worse. And in that, I just ironically pushed myself more away from the source that will help me from it, which is God. When I say God, by the way, guys, I'm not religious. I'm not Christian or Muslim or this or that. My religion is love and God. So when I say God, I mean this connection with divine or source or universe. I believe every person through religion understands that same creation, whatever you call it. It's that we're talking about the same thing. So my lesson, to share today on today's show is you got to let go and let God. And the worst things become in your life. It's because you get caught up in the illusions in the race, the illusions and the false trance and the trap of a race. Like there is no rush. I could have made the same fucking money in a longer period of time, had more peace of mind. I would have rather that. I would have been okay with it. And the moment you start to prioritize money or external things over your own peace of mind or connection with yourself and God, things go wrong. You become a different person. You make bad decisions. And ironically, everything slips through your fingers. So you have this illusion where you think, oh, I'm controlling it. I'm good. I have this under control. But what happens is that quicksand just goes through your fingers. So it's like solid at first because you have faith. Then you start letting go of faith and start bringing fear in and try to control things. And it turns to sand and goes through your hands. You're like, oh, where's it going? Where's it going? And you lose it. And that's God's way of showing you were never in charge. That's like life's way of like slapping you awake and be like, hey, man, relax. You didn't make this happen. Like I didn't give birth to the people on my team. Like the parents did. There's a divine amount of things I can't control that's helped me become who I am today. I didn't build Orlando, but I got to go to Orlando with my team and take them there. And that's a blessing. I never stopped to think like, man, someone had to build this city for me to even desire to want to come here. I didn't stop to think about all the things that have happened for me around me that I can never control. And that's the illusion. When you start accumulating success, you start thinking you're the controller of everything. You're the creator of this stuff. And it went to my head. Went to my head. Parts of me, and even though I studied how to avoid this stuff back when I was in depression, I read Outwitting the Devil. I'm like, I'm not gonna let the devil get to me when I get to the top. And look, came to me through ways I never thought. So I've just learned how to become more humble. I've learned how to let go of things easily, and just to trust a lot more. Like no matter what happens, I'm like, okay. Oh, we didn't have to go. Okay, cool. Oh, you don't want to be here anymore? Okay, cool. Oh, this person doesn't like me anymore? Okay. Client's upset? Okay, cool. No problem. I can't change that. So do what you got to do. I'm going to do my best. So letting go is what spiritualism is all about. It's like, that's the practice of faith. When things are going bad or wrong or hard, or you're scared of this, you just let go, you surrender. Surrendering is the practice of real spiritualism. And that's what I'm on the journey now to do. And so that's why I'm saying I'm not going to quit on desiring to build my business or grow it or whatever. I'm definitely going to approach things differently. I feel like my intention set behind how I do it and why I do it all now is changing. I don't give a shit how much money I make or who's making what. I don't give a fuck. Someone should enjoy my program because I have more money in my Stripe account and my screenshots than the competitor next to me. That's just a dumb reason to join a program. Like if you're just joining programs or making decisions based off who has the most, you're just going to get caught up in that same bullshit trance and that trap. That person's just going to teach you how to become like them, which is miserable when they make all that money. And trust me, I meet all these people who make a lot of money, more money than me, as much money than me, and less money than me. And all of them have the same problems. They have everything outside, and inside they're fucking miserable. So I just don't want to subscribe to that anymore. This is kind of my public announcement to everyone watching. Like, I'm not going to be the money guy anymore. I don't give a shit. I don't care if I only make a few $100,000 or $50,000 or 500,000 or $1 million. I don't give a shit. That doesn't define who I am. It doesn't define who you are. You're not a better person because you made more money than someone. You're not more worthy or more this or more anything. You're literally nothing more or less of, depending on how much you make. It makes no difference. And I'm telling you that from experience because I saw a lot of money come into my life quickly, and I was still a shitty person, and I was losing track of myself and touch myself, and that didn't change. Money didn't change it. It made it a little bit more comfortable to bear it because I had money to do things with, but it didn't change who I am. So I hope this is powerful for you guys. You can expect a lot of different type of content coming out of me. My team still puts out like resources and business stuff, but when I show up online, I'm going to show up differently, man. I'm going to show up with inspiration and real stuff and vulnerable stuff. I think it's more important that you guys see the reality of what it costs to become, quote unquote, successful in business. I mean, it comes at a big cost. You have to be prepared for the kind of challenges God's going to throw at you and the things He's going to ask you to do. And it's going to be difficult and hard. And that's the fun part of it, that it's going to break you down over and over again. That's always the next level. There's always a storm before the, what is the thing? There's always calm. There's a storm. No, it's calm before the storm, but I'm going to reverse that. There's always a storm before the calm. So every time you want to have a new level of peace of mind and a level of wisdom, it's going to come right after a really bad breakdown. And every time I've had a really bad breakdown or downfall, I've shot up 100 times more. It's funny because the last time I felt like this was close to this was when I had depression 2 years ago, and I came out, I catapulted my life, it transformed my life the next year. And that was the starting point of who I am today. I transformed my body, my business, everything. And then I got COVID last year at the end of the year. And right after I came out, I hit my first 50K month, 100K month, my team started to grow, everything just boom, 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 boom. As soon as I came out of this sickness, this illness, or this depression, I just changed my life. And then I push. And now here's my third one, my downfall. Like I just came out of it. Last 60 days have been I've been managing myself, but I've been breaking down inside. So now I'm like, oh, let's go, baby. What's the next level, man? What is the next level is the question. Okay. The obstacle. Yeah. So Angelina says the obstacle is the way. Yeah. The obstacle is the opportunity. Whoo, that's a line right there, my friends. The obstacle is the opportunity. It's not in the way of the opportunity. The obstacle is the opportunity. Angelina, big kudos to you. That's great. Thanks for giving me that idea. Okay. So I have a meeting right now. I got to do an interview with someone we're hiring. So give me a second. Give me 5 minutes, finishing up my show. Okay. So here's the end all, the moral of the story with all this. Okay. Here's the moral of the story. Don't get attached to your results. Therefore, what I mean is lack of results shouldn't make you feel bad, and abundance of results shouldn't make you feel better. It should make you feel nothing. It's okay to celebrate and love it and be grateful, but you should be grateful all the time. I should feel as grateful at making a $600,000 a month than I do at just only making $50,000 a month and going, man, I'm so grateful I have people buying still and there's money coming in, and man, that's amazing. You should practice. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna practice consistency in my attitude. Consistency. I don't give a shit what I'm making. I don't care. It does not matter to me. In fact, I'm probably gonna start looking at my Stripe accounts in my bank. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna delegate that to someone on my team and just like, you do the fund allocations in my bank. I want to start focusing on just doing things that excite me and make me feel better about who I am, and serving. Building something is more important to me. And ironically, when you enter that flow state and you have that faith and you're not focused on numbers and outcomes and deadlines, and you're just focused on giving and service and flow and trust and surrendering and letting go. And even Sunny told me, this is like, it's funny because all that stuff you want comes in faster and with less effort, like less exhaustion. So that's the mistakes I made after the $1 million mark, withdrawing mentally, trying to retire like an idiot. Don't retire. Retirement is death. Okay. After like 2-3 weeks, you start hating it, doing nothing or doing only fun things. The fun things become resentful because all you're doing is fun things, not anything productive or anything that makes you feel purpose. So you just start getting resentful about doing anything fun or pleasurable. Then you start needing to do stupid things like drugs and alcohols and things like that to make you heighten your experience of fun because it's not enough anymore. And so you just start going down a rabbit hole of just losing yourself and being unproductive and unuseful to the world. So that's just a total fucking load of shit. Like there's no such thing as retirement in my eyes. I just always want to be in purpose, and it's good for a short period of time to go and enjoy those things and then get back to purpose. Purpose is a true source of happiness because you're always doing something, working towards it, feeling good about it, and you're becoming something more. The moment I started cutting myself off from growing and challenging myself and working on something big is the starting point of my depression and feeling like shit. So that's another lesson I learned. Don't attach yourself to your results because it really doesn't matter, because no amount of results is ever going to make you feel whole. The wholeness is going to be something you work on yourself with inside. It has nothing to do with your money. And also, last thing is when you're building your business, you guys are in here to grow your business, right? Try to be different, man. Like if you're in your industry and everyone does a specific thing, like in my industry, everyone just flashes their Stripe accounts and their money and they show their client results, right? And we got all that, but I'm going to do something different. Like, I don't want people to join because of that. I want those people who want to see the flashy stuff to just join my competitors' programs, because I don't want people like that. I feel bad about bringing you in through a facade. It's not that it's fake. It's just, it's so superficial. Like, it's not even that it's fake. It's superficial. Like, just because I'm making a lot of money, you assume I know a lot. And that's just not true. Let me tell you something. That is not true. I have elite clients that join my program. They'll triple their business. And they learn more from me than they do from someone who's making millions of dollars a month. They'll join their program and they'll do nothing, or they'll do very little results. Technically, that person makes a lot more money than me, but they just didn't have the wit, the character, the communication skills, or the connection to God in the sense that equips them to help people the way I do. So making more money than another person is not a qualification for why their program's better. That makes no sense at all, actually. Even client results, it doesn't matter. Because there's so many different types of people that can join programs. You know, you can get a lot of people that are already very successful thinking, joining programs, and now your results look like they're great, but maybe the people you're attracting is just great people in business, and someone else has a better program than you, but they have people who need more personal work, and so they don't have time to be that person to execute a program. So it's like, it doesn't mean the program is better just because people get better results. There's so much I'm learning. Like, it's just so dependent on variables. So I'm gonna step away from that brand, and I'm just going to focus on the things that matter, which is people and problems and the spiritual side of things. Because funny enough, if you master spiritualism, you make more money than if you master money stuff. And that's really the truth. And I've not only understood that myself, I've learned it from 7-figure, 8-figure, and 9-figure entrepreneurs. So if you don't believe me, learn it from people who have literally made hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in their bank account. They'll tell you the same thing. Working on spiritualism made them more money than working on anything else. So that's what I'm going to turn my elite program into, which is a 7-figure leadership program, which just means another word for spiritualism. SGC will always be that great program to build your foundation for your systems in place and infrastructure for $1 million business. But I'm gonna show up differently. So love you guys a lot. So I gotta hop off. Everyone who's new in the group, make sure you take advantage of our stuff. We have a lot of cool stuff in this program, in this group. Scroll down. There's a lot of trainings I do like this that I go into depth with. The most recent one was my journey to 500K a month and what I had to work on step by step. So make sure you check that out. Check out our YouTube channel. Just go to Armin Schaffer CLEARTALK and just subscribe. We drop stuff on there too. And again, if this resonates with you and you feel like you get me and I can get you, then book a call with my team. Like we reach out to you every day through my account as well. I'll reach out to you. You could always comment on one of our posts and be like, hey, I want to schedule a call. You could reach out to me. I'm just like, hey, can I book a call? I want to learn more about your program. When you book a call, we send you to a page afterwards with a program breakdown. So you get a 30-minute video where I explain everything you get. I show you my program. I walk you through. I break it down. I show you everything that everyone gets, why there's so many people like hit 6 and 7 figures in our program. So if you're serious about getting results in that sense, make sure you check that out. But bigger than that, I want you guys to be connected to this kind of movement. And we're doing something bigger than just building a business. So if you want to be a part of that, then make sure you go ahead and book a call. Love you guys so much. We go live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. We answer your questions as well. If I'm not doing a story time, I'm answering questions like Q&A, which will be the next one. So you can go to askarmin.com and submit your questions there and I'll answer them. And yeah, love you guys lots. I'll see you guys next week on Monday. Or hopefully I'll see you inside the program and get to work with you one-on-one as a coach to you. So love you guys lots. Hope this was groundbreaking or breakthroughs for you guys. And I hope you guys dive deeper into yourself more than you do in your business so that your business can flourish. So go on and make the rest of your day and the rest of your week the best of your week.